Welcome to We Don't Have Cookies with your host, Jason Marshall.
Hey everybody, thanks for downloading the show. I have a fun show planned for you today, and joining me right off the bat is a legend in the world of MMA. He is also my bailiff for the Comedy Court episodes of the podcast called Martial Law, which will be returning next month. It's the UFC Hall of Famer, Dan the Beast Severn. How you doing, Dan?
Well, Jason, I'll tell you what, I'm an incredibly busy man to the point that I always say that I'm busier than a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest, and I'm surrounded by asses. I don't think it gets any busier than that.
No, it doesn't. That is very busy. Surrounded by asses.
But Jason, all in a good way. I mean, people might think that is a negative connotation, but no, not whatsoever. I mean, I live a very charmed life. I live a very busy, very productive life, and I am a guy that helps make things happen.
Yeah, ever since I've got to know you, you have always been on the go. As a matter of fact, the last time I talked to you was for the podcast 3-year anniversary episode, and you were calling in from your car then. And a few things went down on that show I'd like to talk to you about.
I need my guess, but let me throw one thing down. I'm being very braggadocious right now. I set an all-time record, even for myself. I took out a rental car vehicle. Now, this here in Coldwater, Michigan, they have a couple of little rental car places, and I've been renting quite a bit there from Enterprise. And the very first time I took out a car for the weekend, I brought it back. I had a little over 2,500 miles put on it. And they're like, they're like, dude, where'd you go? They're like, you only had it for 3 days. I go, well, I just ran down to either North Carolina or I sit down the floor. I don't really remember where it was off that, but they're like going, that's incredible. Boy, each time, they did not know who I was. I never do brag about like that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Before they come up, find out, they're like, dude, you're caged by, dude, you're. I go, yeah. I go, dude, I kind of know that because I was there, done that, And they just can't believe that, They like, well, you don't read out. I still am a normal person. I still go to restaurants. I still go to the local grocery store, pick up stuff like this. I go, I'm a normal guy in a lot of different ways. I just do some abnormal type of hobbies. I climb into a cage every now and then. Climb into a professional wrestling ring. Go out and work with first responders. And these guys, they come to like, they really get to know me. And just recently, when I say recently, less than 60 days ago, I took a car out from them. And I told myself, you guys are going to probably be surprised. I said, if I'm able to do what I have on my list, I will be setting an all-time record for myself. I took the vehicle out. It had 8,800 miles on it. 8,800 miles is what this vehicle had on it when I left the lot. I came back 6 weeks later, and it had just over 42,000 miles on it.
Wow.
And these guys are like going, well, first off, I went through, I think, 4 oil changes, two tires.
Oh my God.
It was really kind of interesting, and because I made miles onto it, and they're like, we need to retire this from the fleet right now. They're like, how is that possible? And they're like, where did you go? I go, it might be easier if I simply say where I didn't go. I went all over the place.
Man, that's a lot of miles.
But I do a lot of driving, but I bring a lot of stuff with me because I don't do just one thing. I'm about to head off for Arizona next week. And when I depart, I will be doing this little zigzag type of thing because I don't have to be right at Arizona. I will zigzag because of opportunities of going over here. I might be in Tulsa, Oklahoma doing this. I might be in Oklahoma City doing that. I might be in Amarillo, Texas doing this. I might be in Albuquerque, New Mexico. It's all really on the route of 40, but I mean, it's I could take so many different routes and still get to Arizona, but it's the opportunities that I have. I mean, I love teaching. So whether it be amateur wrestling, mixed martial arts, Greco-Roman wrestling, freestyle wrestling, gi, non-gi, submission grappling, And I'm a throwback from days gone by of catch wrestling and things of that nature. Oh, there's some interesting stories there too. But I do a lot of work with first responders, law enforcement, corrections, air marshals, border patrol, and military, which to me is the highest order right there because, well, military and law enforcement, corrections should go in that same category because all the programs I have seen so far that are being taught, it's all based on competition. I go, this is not a competition. This is this is life or death. That's a whole different ball of wax. And so I'm a rather passionate man about that stuff there, Jason. But go ahead. I tend to go off into tangents on you. And I'm not even on caffeine yet. Woo!
Well, you got a lot of irons in the fire, but one of them that we haven't brought up yet, well, I guess I did in the introduction, but you're the bailiff for the martial law episodes.
Come on now. I always said, look at all the work I do with first responders, law enforcement, corrections, air marshal, border patrol, military. I'm the man that gets things done. If anyone gets out of order, well, rest assured.
That's
the beast
right.
will put it right back in order.
A new member of the family called the Wood Enthusiast, which consists of Larry Woodstone and we'll call him Big G. His name's Gary Gilbert, but I want to call him Big G because my first guest on the podcast name was Gary, so I don't want to confuse anybody 200 and some episodes later.
I gotcha.
Big
G and Larry now, okay?
Yeah, they want to bring somebody onto the show for an episode of martial law because of something that was actually said on this podcast that they had a problem with. The problem is the person they want to bring on has been brought on more than anybody else. You may even call him the podcast resident troublemaker, but it's somebody that you had a problem with yourself and was on martial law with, and that's a guy named Choo Choo Stew. Do you think...
the choo-choo, huh?
Yeah. Do you think as a bailiff that you would be able to be impartial on those episodes?
To be impartial, huh?
Yeah, because here's the thing.
Okay.
I have a backup bailiff just in case. It may be somebody you're familiar with. It's a former WWF and WCW world champion named Sid Vicious.
Well, I think Sid could get things handled, but rest assured, I'd be more than happy and honored to be Sid's backup man if he should even need any backup.
I know you forgave him on the Christmas episode, but I want to make sure there's no...
Well, that's only because it was Christmas. Come on, you got to be a little bit more kind of forgiving around that time of year.
That is very true.
But if the choo-choo's been bad, maybe he needs a couple lumps of coal.
He might, because like I said, he's been brought onto these episodes more than anybody. I don't know if there's ever been an episode of martial law that was a tried and true episode where it was one person against another. The first episode was just me giving Mama Kate a punishment. But I don't think there's been a martial law episode that didn't involve Choo Choo Stew.
Well, I'm trying to think right now how to circumvent that one right now, but I'm a little bit at a loss here right now.
I think we have to admit that regardless, I need to be impartial because I'm going to be the judge, so I don't want to make this seem tainted, but with that many people bringing him onto the show, it sounds like he's just a troublemaker, wouldn't you say? Well,
I know he's a troublemaker because I had some interactions there with him, and to me it's like going, Choo Choo, Sue, you wouldn't be talking like that if I was sitting across from you within arm's reach.
That is true.
The telephone used to be referred to as reach out and touch someone. Well, it doesn't really exactly work like that because I would have liked to have reached straight to that receiver and might have grabbed him by the throat.
And just to refresh everybody's memory of why you have a problem with him, I'll play the song on break, or maybe I shouldn't. I don't know. I'll leave it up to your discretion. But Stu sung "We Don't Give a Damn About the Whole State of Michigan" on the show. And for people who don't know, that's where Dan's from. And, Dan's got a lot of pride in the state.
That's right. Born and raised. I'm a Michigander.
Going back to Sid Vicious, do you have any stories about Sid, or did you ever work with him in the WWF?
I never had a match with Sid. I have met him a few times, But I made it may be a quick what I'm saying, but that was his kind of his chosen main career. Whereas I was doing double duty between climbing the cages for mixed martial arts and the predecessor NHB for No Holds Barred, and on top of doing professional wrestling matches. But I was not exclusive. Also, to where I could work for any professional wrestling company. I was working for the NWA. I was working for the WWF, and that any other company that if I had open date. But the same way when it came to what I was doing in the cage fighting world, I worked for the UFC, but I was not restricted in any ways there either. When I tell people, I'd wake up sometimes in the morning and I'd have to look at my planner to realize where am I at and what is my function today or tonight. Am I climbing in the ring? Am I climbing the cage? Am I working with kids? Am I working with law officers? I mean, it was a crazy schedule. I say it was, but it still is. It's just crazy in other areas now. But good, though. All good, Jason.
That is nice, though, because you have a variety. It's not like you're going to get burned out by doing the same thing every day.
Jason, if variety is the spice of life, I am the spiciest person that you'll ever meet.
Well, Dan, I know that you travel a lot and you're a busy guy. If you ever find yourself in Ohio, I'd love it if you stop by sometime.
Well, I was just down there again in Columbus. I mean, coming up in what is it February? I'm trying to think, when is the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic? I think that's in February, March that takes place. I know I will be down there again for that event.
Oh, well.
And I'll probably be there a couple of days before and maybe by a couple of days after, because I have a couple of people that are organizers in the Arnold Classic, and they want me to come in and do a couple additional things, a couple seminars and things of that nature. So I will be down to Columbus, I think, in the first week of March.
Okay. I'm about an hour away from Columbus. That would be awesome if we could meet up sometime.
I would like that. We could do that. Then we could do a live segment.
Oh, that would be a lot of fun.
and it'd be really nice if you might bring along the choo-choo.
I'll have to see what I could do about that. Is there anything that you'd like to promote before you go?
I mean, honestly, just keep looking at my website, and that is www.dansevern.com. Severn spelled S-E. V like Victor, E-R-N. dansevern.com. A lot of things going on. Lots of travel still coming up. And my website will be getting a major overhaul here some of the next, say, 60 to 90 days as well. Trying to really get more updated. Just I still love opportunities. If folks are looking to bring me in for any kind of a seminar, like I said, for amateur wrestling and professional wrestling, mixed martial arts, grappling, submission grappling, gi, non-gi, they're guaranteed to have a very entertaining and very educational, and I always guarantee them they will see at least a few techniques they have never seen it in their life and will walk away with bewilderment as to how effective they really are.
And I'll have a link to your website in the show notes so people can go check that out. And you can also follow him on Twitter at Dan_B_Severn. I'll have a link to that in the show notes too. Dan, I want to thank you for being on the show today. I'm going to play a song by the Arrogant Worms. But first, Dan, have you ever thought about being an insurance salesman with all the other jobs that you have?
I did that for almost 1 year.
You did, really?
I passed because because you have to be you have to pass. It's a pretty intensive test that you have to pass, and usually it takes you 2 or 3 times to pass the test. Well, the beast passed the first time out of the blocks, and that was for both residential, commercial, health products, things of that nature. It was very surprising because as a buddy of mine actually out of Kalamazoo, Michigan, that owned the insurance company. He really specialized in health products for companies, especially a lot of small companies. And it boggled my mind when I was working with them how many people are sick. They have conditions, but off on that same tangent, each time I walk into like the Walmart local store here in Coldwater, Michigan. Each time I go in through there, I pass by the pharmacy section, and I can't believe the hundreds of bags that they're filling orders on a daily basis. And I living in the Coldwater area, I've come to know a number of people behind the counter, and I'm like going, is this how many things go out per month? And the guy shaking his head he goes, this is per day. I go, you got to be kidding me. I go, Coldwater's not that big, and I'm looking at this rack of prescriptions that are being filled. I'm thinking, holy moly, who's not on the list? And the guy just got smiling. He goes, man, he goes, I have never filled a prescription for you ever. I go, and hopefully you never will either.
Well, that's funny you say that, because this next song now speaks about you more than ever. It's a song by the Arrogant Worms called The Ballad of Dan. And I may play the song by Choo Choo Stew that got him in such hot water with Dan, since we were talking about that. I don't know if I'll play it or not.
You better do that one when I'm off at that point, because otherwise I might rile me up a little bit there. Don't want to rile the beast up now.
Yeah, that's very true. I may not want to do that before Stu comes on and you guys have to interact again. So I'm going to play a song by the Arrogant Worms, and I'll be back.
I'm out on the range, surveying the land, thinking of the job that's to be done. My life is hard, but I don't mind. Men like me, that's how the West was won. I stand the pain and the suffering, for on the trail I am the king. On doors I knock and on bells I ring, always sure that I will get the sale. 'Cause I am Dan, the insurance salesman, in a beat-up Chevrolet I do ride. I'll rope them in and tie them up and bind them legally, for on the dotted line I make them sign. Heidi hey, Heidi hey. The door swings wide and I sense my prey, ready to fall victim to my pitch. I tell him all about the plan, with all of its inherent benefits. If you lose an arm, it's $1,000. Lose both of them and get twice as much. And if you should die, well then bless your luck. You'll just be rolling in the cash. 'Cause I am Dan, the insurance salesman, in a beat-up Chevrolet I do ride. I'll rope them in and tie them up and bind them legally, or on the dotted line I make them sign. Heidi hey! The sucker signs and the deed is done. Time for me to get back on the road. A lonely man out on the land, where the wind can blow so cold. I ride into the setting sun with the knowledge of a job well done. But I can't rest until everyone has become properly insured. 'Cause I am Dan, the insurance salesman, in a beat-up Chevrolet I do ride. I'll rope them in and tie them up and bind them legally, or on the dotted line I make them sign. Yes, I am Dan, the insurance salesman, in a beat-up Chevrolet I do ride. I'll rope them in and tie them up and bind them legally, or on the dotted line I make them sign.
Needing help to remove any obstacles or challenges that might be holding you back from success in your business or personal life? Let me help you create a course of action that will take you to the next level personally and professionally with some bad life coaching. And remember, that notion of not caring is somehow super cool.
Want to contact the show? Send an email to jason@wedon'thavecookies.com or call 929-266 888-866-9342 and leave a voicemail.
I can't wait to meet up with Dan this February, and trust me, that is going to happen. Who knows, maybe we can do a We Don't Have Cookies meetup around that time in Columbus too. It would be a lot of fun. And speaking of a lot of fun, I really wanted to have the guy from the video I talked about a couple of weeks ago, where the guy in Florida went into a convenience store to buy beer with a live alligator and was running around the aisles with it, chasing people. He wanted to be on the show, but he got into some legal trouble from doing what he did, and his lawyer doesn't want him to do the podcast. So I can't say that I blame him, but unfortunately, that means this is going to be a shorter episode than I expected. I haven't done this since the early days of the podcast, but I want to start going over the upcoming strange holidays of the week. If you're listening to this on the day it comes out, Monday, August 20th is Chocolate Pecan Pie Day. Tuesday, August 21st is Spumoni Day. Wednesday, August 22nd is Be an Angel Day. Thursday, August 23rd is Ride Like the Wind Day. Friday, August 24th is Pluto Demoted Day, which, of all of the days, that seems like the weirdest one so far. Saturday, August 25th is Kiss and Make Up Day. Sunday, August 26th is Dog Appreciation Day. I want to thank all the people listening on CastBox. A couple of hundred people are subscribed over there. If some of you could leave a positive comment, I would appreciate that. But if you don't want to, that's fine. I also want to thank all of the new listeners for downloading. The show has grown quite a bit in the last few weeks, and I especially want to thank all of you who have helped spread the word and got those people into the podcast. Please keep it up. The only way this podcast can grow is with you guys telling other people about it and getting them into the show. And it's working. So keep doing what you're doing. I really do appreciate it. All right, guys, that's it for me this week. I will be back with another episode next Monday. I hope you have a great week. I'll talk to you then.
Thanks for listening. Tell your friends about the show and leave a review. See you next time.
I'm surrounded by asses.